It is 5:30. We will call this regular city council of meeting for the city of International Falls. Our first item on our agenda is to join me in pledging allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Please note that all members of the council are present. The first official action of the agenda is to approve the agenda with any additions or deletions. To the best of my knowledge, we don't have any additions or deletions, so the chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councillor Holden. We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we'll go to the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes before you. I did get an updated copy. If you guys look on page 3 of 4 under audience, it says that they are currently working with Kraus Anderson and Bolton Menk. It's Isaac Sports Group. Should be written there. The chair would entertain a motion to accept the agenda with that addition or that correction.
So move.
We have a motion by Councillor Deitch. Do we have a second?
Second.
Go ahead.
We have a second by Councillor Kraus. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we'll go to the payments of claims. We have city transfers going to the 101 general fund, coming from the 812 lodging tax fund in the amount of $225.75. We have accounts payable, regular City of International Falls claims of $228,798.94. Airport commission claims of $67,186.02, and airport project claims of $24,940 even, for a total of accounts payable of $320,924.96. The chair would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councillor Kraus.
Second.
Second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. We don't have any public hearings. Oh, let's go to the audience. Anybody in the audience have anything to bring forward today? All right. We don't have public hearings, opening bids, old business. We'll go to new business. Consider the use of Smokey Bear Park in partnership with the International Falls Bass Championship for the 2022 International Falls Bass Championship tournament scheduled for the 25th through 27th. I think we have Gary Potter here. Yeah, please come on up.
Yes, Gary Potter on behalf of the International Falls Bass Championship. Just here to see if we have the use of the Smokey Bear Park August 25th, 26th, 27th, and also to see if the city is interested in partnering with us to put on the event again this year.
You got my vote.
Well, I won't make it a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Councillor Holden. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? So what all are you asking for from the city other than just partnering as we have?
Same as we've had before in the past has been awesome. The city, we could not put it on without the city's help. So, and
Please.
Question: Who applies for the road closure to the state?
like on our board now,
No, I mean, do you apply for it, or did the city apply for it in the past?
1 year I did, and then last year I did not. So I'm not-
I believe last year there was a letter that I issued to the state requesting being closed for Crazy Days,
Yes,
the Bass Championship and the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that can come through our office, which we would do.
they did several of them, I think, in one shot.
Yep.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Oh, and I think we also did it for, no, I don't think we did. The Elks. I was thinking for something for the Elks corn feed, but I don't think we did because they changed how they were operating that. So.
I think just
Yeah.
one note on that, whoever does apply for it, I think you're gonna want to close the whole thing, the whole time, not
Yes.
open at night. And that's one thing we gotta make sure that gets put on there, that we request it being closed the whole time for safety's sake.
Yeah.
And it worked out last year very well to do it that way. So just to make sure that we get it right the first time, so you don't have to go and.
That's a great
back
idea.
at it again.
Yep.
When you
Yeah.
say request closed the whole time, are we talking from the 25th through the 27th, or what timeframes are we looking at on that?
And we can get you the times too. We can touch base all the way up until for sure Sunday. I think we opened it back up Sunday about 9 and Sunday 9 in the morning, and we closed it Thursday later in the afternoon. Yep. I wanna
Yeah, we have
say-
plenty of time on that, but if you could get us
I'll
the
get, yep, I will.
times.
I got it all written down. I just,
Okay.
yes.
They just, I didn't work so well last year because that was the first year where they had closed the whole time. And you didn't have to worry about people trying to go through when the kids going across.
Yeah.
And they think it's closed, so they dart across, but the barricades have been lifted and now cars are zipping. So it's better, like Walt said, for safety reasons, just to, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely work on that. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, let's call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have a resolution
Thanks, Gary.
for, well,
Thank
we're
you, guys.
not quite done with them
Oh,
quite
okay.
yet.
A couple more yet.
Yeah, we have 3 more.
Oh, geez.
2 more. Resolution approving the International Falls Bass Championship application for a 1 to 4 day temporary on-sale liquor license for the Bass Championship, same dates at Smokey Bear Park. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Holden. Do we have a
Second.
second? Second by Counselor Deitch. Discussion? Now, historically, did you have Rotary do it, or are you guys doing it yourselves this year?
You know, the first year or two we had Rotary, and we've been on our own ever since. And this
Okay.
is year 18 now. So we've probably been doing it ourselves for 15, 16 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. That satisfies that question. Any other questions? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have a resolution approving the International Falls Bass Championship application for an exempt permit to sell raffle tickets, with the drawing to be held Saturday, August 27th at Smokey Bear Park, 600 3rd Street. Chair would entertain a motion for that action.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second? A second by Counselor Kraus. Any discussion? Call for the question on the resolution,
Aye.
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 and I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now we're done. Thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you, guys. The times to close, would like me just to email them to Betty
Yeah,
or
anyone, yeah.
that'd be good for you? Okay.
All
right.
Fantastic.
Yep. And thank you guys for all your help in the last 17 years, and especially Walt. He was on our board for many years, stepped off. First, it can be weird not to see him at any meetings or down at the event helping out. But yeah, no, it's been huge. Yeah, yeah.
Now you gotta buy a ticket.
I might win.
Yep, that's right. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys all for being a big part of it. It's without the city's help, there's no way we could put this event on. So
All
it's
right,
been huge. Thank you again.
thank you.
Thank you.
Doing a good job, Gary. Thank you.
All right, next we have to approve or allow necessary expenses for Mayor Droba to testify on a bill that directly affects International Falls and meet with legislators regarding the Cary Park Health and Wellness Center in St. Paul, March 8th and 9th, 2022. Chair would entertain a motion for those expenses.
So move.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Kraus. Just to give you guys background of how this has came about. I don't know if you guys are aware, but last week, Paul Nevenin was asked to speak on the House side regarding Representative Eklund's bill for border economic relief, which would allow businesses that are directly affected by COVID-19 from the Canadian border being closed to recoup some funding. There is a partner bill that is in the Senate, and Senator Bach has asked me to come down and testify on that. It would directly affect those that are in Coochin County. It would also affect those that are in International Falls. I found out today that Paul Nevenin is also going to that, so he'll be testifying as well. One of the things that we had discussion with Betty and myself and Jeff Anderson, Senator Bach, which is moving our bill forward, has asked for us to come down and to meet with the committee that will be looking at our bill. So trying to do the two at one kind of made sense. So Jeff Anderson has set me up with 6 appointments on Wednesday to meet with legislators about our bill while I'm down there. So that is that. Betty, do you have anything to add to that?
No, that covers it.
Okay.
That's
Can
everything.
we have discussion?
Please, absolutely.
Okay. I want everybody here, and especially the council, to understand that I would never vote against any way of money coming to International Falls. I'm all for that. And I will give the mayor his necessary vote towards going down there. However, I have a couple of things for discussion that I feel the council needs to have, and we need to have a study done on the entire project. What it costs for design, construction, and future maintenance. And then after all the numbers are put down, and I mean all the numbers, then it needs to go to the public so the public can hear it and make a decision on how, what kind of this whole project are we going to do? You don't know how much you're going to get. You don't know how much the entire project's going to cost. We are probably going to get some money, but I think the public needs to know the entire cost and the future of the maintenance to do it, depending on how much we do on the project. And it needs to go right to the taxpayers so that they understand.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay.
We've never hid that. We went through, we have a dollar amount. As of right now, we believe that the project is roughly 15.9 million to build the project. We have, as outlined in our minutes from the last meeting, ISG is putting together, they've already put it together and they were already willing to give it to the council, that it is, the maintenance is within the restrictions of what we can afford and what we have. And but we said we don't want to do that yet until we work with the groups that are going to be utilizing and paying for that, so we know those dollar amounts are accurate, so we are not giving out incorrect information to the public. So once we have those numbers, which I'm assuming is going to be somewhere towards the end of this month, we can set up that meeting where we can go to the public and we can have that conversation about what we're looking at doing, what it's going to cost to build, which as of right now, we think will be able to be covered under bonding. If it can't be covered under bonding, we can't do the project, and we have no interest of doing the project if we can't afford it. And once we can hammer down all of those numbers from ISG to make sure that the numbers are accurate, once they speak with the rec hockey, once they speak with volleyball, pickleball, all the people that will be utilizing that facility, and we know those numbers are accurate because the users that are willing to pay for it are saying they will pay for it. at that point, we will have accurate numbers to share with the residents of International Falls.
Well, all I know is right now, we don't have any figures. Council's been waiting for figures to come in. We're not sure just exactly how much of that project we're gonna do, depending on how much money comes in. So it's kind of hard. I mean, you're asking for 15.9, but I'm not sure I know, and the people don't know what those figures are completely for maintenance, design, and construction. And that's what I'd like to see, a complete workup on the whole thing out to the public.
Well, and part of that is along with these meetings that are going to be happening in the middle of March with myself and Councilor Deitch, working with the organizations on what they need in the facility. We have an artist rendition of what the project looks like, but until Rec Hockey comes in and they say, we need these locker rooms to be here, we need this over there, this would be one of the things that would be really important to us. I mean, to be honest, or baseball, everyone that's going to be utilizing is going to have a say in what makes sense and what they're willing to pay for. We have an artist rendition. We have a team that's working on the project, but it's 100% based on if we can get funding. So phase one is to do the splash park and the traditional playground equipment, put in a road and a larger parking lot, which if nothing else happens, we have a splash park, playground, and we have a larger parking lot for the arena that we have, which we can't maintain or fix. So
I understand the splash park part of it, and anything for the kids. For me, I love kids, and that's, I'm excited about the splash park. However, it's the complex I'm thinking of. That's what, now, not knowing all the different costs there involved, I think it's important that it gets broken down, whatever year, is it's year 2 or year 3, complete breakdown, maintenance included, and employees are going to be needed if there's extra, whatever. The whole picture's got to be there.
And all of that information is coming.
Okay.
I do have one question for you though, Councilor Holden,
Yes,
because are you knowledgeable on where Kerry Park Arena is right now in its maintenance?
Yeah, I understand there is some maintenance issues there. The roof is leaking. I understand that. I understand that the future on the Freon needs to be, needs to be addressed. Different grade of Freon that needs to be put in. I also understand about the structure. The structure needs to be painted, finish painted, needs to be probably sandblasted, the beams, and then finish coated because it never got finish coated. Structurally, it's still sound. So that.
Do you know what the dollar amount is for what you just brought up?
I have never seen a dollar amount of what it would take. No.
It's over $2 million is what we have. And so that's where we're at right now, is if we can get the state to fund a facility, the Kerry Park project, as what we're hoping to do, we can maintain that, because that building has never been used for its intended purpose. It originally was an outside rink that had big air openings, and we took those out. Then we had moisture issues in there. There's been so many different issues that have happened over time. We've extended the building. So that's where the concerns that we have are. That's one of the things that led us down this road, is because to come up with $2.5 million to maintain that facility is what was one of the driving pieces of this. Yeah,
I understood that. I also am looking at, I'm losing my voice a little bit, but I'm also looking at things that are put into that complex that maybe is in competition with other things going on in International Falls. So that's what I'm concerned about.
Well, we have a motion and a second to move forward. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns?
How about just getting the state to fund the repairs that are needed, a little bit of upgrade?
That isn't a possibility in the bonding.
But they'll fund
Point of order.
15.8
Point of order.
Yes.
This isn't a public hearing.
So anyways, that's where we're at. We're looking to fund the building and to move forward with that. And those questions need to be answered. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'd like to see it out there for the public, you know.
Okay.
They've kept a lot of things running in International Falls, and they deserve to know what the costs are, so.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we go to repealing a resolution for the Business Development Public Infrastructure BDPI grant application for Green Tech. And just for council's acknowledgement, we will be adopting a new one, which in fact, Betty, can you just give us a quick rundown of why we're switching them out?
Sure. Yep. In the process of completing the package in your packet today for this BDPI grant for the Green Tech sewer line realignment, sorry. They needed additional information they needed the fund number stated in the resolution that we would be using the funds from. And it wasn't in the original one. And there was a couple items in the packet of information that they wanted updated. And so I thought it'd be best if we just repealed it and then created a new document. And the league said that would be very appropriate to do as well for, keeping it orderly.
Okay. So the first action would be to repeal Resolution 09-2022. Chair would entertain a motion for that repeal.
So move.
We have a motion by Councillor Deitch. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councillor Holden. Discussion? Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have adopting a resolution approving the Greater Minnesota Business Development Public Infrastructure Grant application for Green Tech Sewer Realignment Project. Chair would entertain a motion for that resolution.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councillor Holden. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on behalf of EDA. It was a real good conversation that Steve and Betty had with the owners of Green Tech, and we're moving along, and we came up with a developers agreement. The owners are excited. Personally, I visited with one of the owners, and he's all excited about the future at Green Tech. It's huge. So I appreciate what Steve Shermone did and Betty did on visiting. I was down shooting geese in Arkansas, and so I'd like to have been there, but they handled it good, and we're moving. So that's a big deal for them. They're local boys that want to stay here. So thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the 3-year labor agreement between the City of International Falls and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 49, for the Public Works and Administrative Office clerical staff, January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2024. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that agreement.
So move.
We have a motion by Councillor Deitch.
Second.
We have a second by Councillor Holden. I'm just going to make this ask. I've talked to Betty about it. I sent out an email to Betty, the city administrator, and the HR director. I have no issue necessarily with this contract, but the one thing that I do think that is something that we should discuss is, with the exception of our negotiating team, none of the council has actually been able to meet in closed session to just have a discussion on the contract. Historically, we have not done that. And I'm just asking if that's something we want to do. The union, when they take the contract back to their members, they get to have a closed meeting with just their members to discuss frankly and informally about if they like the contract, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. With that being said, 3 members of this council is seeing this in their packet for the first time on Friday. I honestly, if everyone feels comfortable with it, I'm fine with voting on it, but we can also vote on it on Monday at our committee of the whole meeting. We could go into closed session, have a discussion with the council and come out of that and be able to vote on the contract then as well. Again, historically, this is not something that the city has done, but I also believe that, you know, having a 3-year contract, we should definitely be able to have some frank discussion and maybe even ask some questions of our negotiating team on why some things are in there and why some things are not.
I'd like to see us just move along and get the contract done.
I guess I would agree with it. More discussion drags things down farther. And as we know, negotiations drag on too far the way it is.
Right.
And if we wind up with 3-4 meetings with council, it's going to drag it down farther. We appoint our people to negotiate this contract and other contracts, 2 more coming up. And we have time to look at it, hopefully before a council meeting. And if questions are there, maybe they should be asked before.
Fair enough. And I will just say this though, on the flip side, we negotiated and it went back to the union and the union voted no.
That's correct.
And so it had to come back to the negotiating team again. All I'm asking is if the council wants to have a conversation in closed session about this contract and then move forward.
No, I think, well, go ahead, Walt.
This side of the table, your thoughts?
I think this contract's agreed and everybody's signed. So I think it's well past the opportunity to have a conversation about it. Maybe moving forward, that wouldn't be a bad idea, but before it's all signed, but now I think it's a little late.
I haven't signed it.
It's not signed.
It's not signed, but we need to get these
I
contracts
think the old
done.
one was what signed with a copy of the old one in there.
Copy of the MOUs from the previous years
Yeah,
are signed,
previous
but the
years are signed.
contract is not signed.
But the
Right.
union has agreed to this contract.
The union has. yeah.
Their group has ratified it, yes.
Yeah.
Said that they have agreed.
And our negotiators obviously have agreed.
Yep. I think we need to move along. We got 2 other unions that are unsettled right now. And the longer it goes,
Okay.
I mean, you just got to get them done. It needs to move along.
Any other thoughts, please?
I just think we need to put faith into our negotiating committee that they negotiate good for us because that's why they're there for. I mean, we got a committee to do it. And I think that if we do look through it and decide that there's something that somebody doesn't like and it goes back to those, they wouldn't feel like they even need to be there then if we're going to do that. So I think if it's ratified both ways, I think we're fine with me anyway.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the agreement? Then I have to say one thing, and this is one of the things that has frustrated me about this one contract, and it isn't about our employees. We're doing a 3-3-3 contract on this, 3% this year, 3% next year, and 3% the following year. In the budget this year, we had set aside 2.5% for this year's budget. Being a 3%, I'm fine with that. I understand it, and it comes down to the employees, and they're doing really, really well. And we have great employees. Where I get a little bit uneasy right now is the cost of living is continually going up. Gas prices have jumped how many cents in a couple of weeks? When PCA is seeing inflation, or when corporations see inflation, they're able to raise their cost of what they sell. And not just them. I mean, you're going to see it in grocery stores, gas stations, everywhere across the way. I look at that and we can't do that. All we can do is raise taxes. And when we raise taxes, we're essentially raising taxes on the people that are also paying the same amount at the gas station, at the pump, and not everybody has these positions. Specifically, I'm from Center Ward. Center Ward is probably the poorest ward that we have in the community, and they're going to be paying on these contracts as well. Again, this is no disrespect to our employees, because our employees deserve a good paying job and benefits. But I do really struggle with a 3, 3, and 3 raise as the cost of living is going up so high in our community. And above and beyond that, we have, I just lost my train of thought. That's just, that's what it is. Doing a 3, 3, and 3 as the cost of living is going, I lost my train of thought again. I'm just going to be done. But
how about if I add a little to it? The city of International Falls has run on a skeleton crew for years. Okay, I know that for a fact. They've saved a ton of money because of that. And the city of International Falls union groups have had to give up stuff in order to get some stuff. And they go the extra mile. They're out in front of the public every day in front of the public. They work their butts off. And I've watched and I've been there, and they're a good crew. Doesn't matter if it's police, fire, 49ers, plowing snow, whatever. They are out in front of the public where nobody else is, unless you're a public employee. Okay. And so for them to get, a decent raise, they're not going to become millionaires, but they get a decent raise so they can handle part of the inflation too. You go down anywhere, and the cost of living here in the Falls, it costs more to live here buying food than it does down other places. Okay. So the city employees are, to me, are a special group of people. And so I just think they got to get taken care of. Especially when they're on a skeleton crew.
can I ask a question?
I'll just give you one example. Harley, I won't interrupt you after this, but in my position I had when I started here, there were 3 electricians. When I finished out, there was 1. What kind of money do you think they saved over them years? A ton of money. So just help me understand what the union gave up in the contract this time. I don't know what they did this time. I just know about the 39 years that I worked for the city, and what there were times when we gave up stuff so that we could get something else. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure what got taken away or but they've had stuff taken away from them.
So that's my question. I mean, if you don't know, if you're arguing so hard to just move forward with the contract, but yet you don't know what they gave up and what we're giving, I really think we should have a closed session so we can have that discussion. I
go back to what Walt said, where they voted, the union voted, the negotiators did their job, and now we're there to get the contract done.
So you are saying that you don't know what's in the contract? I
did read it. Okay. How's that?
All right. So we have a motion and a second on the table to approve the operating contract for the local 49ers. Chair will call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'm going to vote no. The motion the contract moves forward 4-1. Next, we have a letter from the city attorney, and I'll just hand that over to him. City attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Well, I've been in International Falls working as a lawyer since 1976, and this is my last year. I'm going to close my office and not be a practicing attorney anymore. So I thought I would submit this information to the council well in advance, so you can be planning how you want to move forward in the future. And myself and my office are available to help in that process as we can. This I'm into, I think I've done 11 years as city attorney, and this will be my 12th year, and I've appreciated it. It's been nice working with the different councils, and things have transitioned and changed over time, and I have enjoyed it, and it's time for me to hang it up so I can spend more time with my grandkids.
Are you staying in town?
I plan to. I mean, all my two of my children and all 7 of my grandchildren live in Grand Rapids, and for almost a year now, we've had an apartment in Grand Rapids, and my wife is there almost full time. And then my office hasn't been open on Fridays, so Thursday after work, I usually go to Grand Rapids and spend my weekends there. I'll pick up with my grandkids and go to a hockey tournament someplace. We were more had last weekend. But no, I plan to. I don't have any plans to sell my home or anything, and we've got a lake cabin on Rainy Lake and a hunting shack out by Loman, and so no, I mean I still plan to be around, although I may spend more nights in Grand Rapids than I spend in International Falls. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it, and I thank you, and I thank all the prior councils that got me started on this.
Thank you. All right, any other business to come before the council? All right, we'll go to reports of boards, committees, department heads, city administrator.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Just one update. I've been working with County Auditor Treasurer on redistricting. We'll be bringing some of that information to the committee of the whole. I think we're at a low enough percentage, and so we will not have to redistrict, but we'll bring all the information to a committee of the whole for you so you can see all that. Working with finishing up the other 2 contracts with the committees, and there was one other item I wanted to bring.
Okay, I lost my train of thought earlier.
The housing study we've seen the final draft today. We've got a couple of changes, so that's going to be coming out very soon. Kind of excited about that because it puts together a nice picture on what we can do and how to move forward with it. We'll have some decisions to make with that as well. So just a couple of things we've been working on, taking up some time.
Excellent. City attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I've been working on the union contracts, and we've got 1 down and 2 to go, and we've got scheduled to do those next week. I think is when we're having our next negotiating session with the other unions. Also, working with Jared Baldwin on the rental licensing program, and there's been a lot of success. He's put a lot of work in on it, but there are a number of landlords that have not complied with our ordinance and have not paid the fees and submitted to the inspections. And Jared and I are meeting on Wednesday to come up with a plan as to how we want to move forward with those. We have several options under the ordinance, and we'll come up with a plan to go forward, and maybe we'll probably try to present something maybe at the committee of the whole meeting next Monday as to what we're thinking, and get input from the council as to what your thoughts on what steps we ought to go through.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. Chief? Yeah, I don't see any on. All right, so we will go to reports to the mayor, council committees, boards and commissions. I have nothing tonight. Council committees, anybody? Okay. Go to audience. Anyone in the audience have anything to bring forward, please?
Goes back to Cary Park. Just point of clarification, if I may, I'm Lois Lundin. Here's just citizen of the city. Just to go back to the bonding bill that's being presented for the 15.9 million. if that amount comes back, and I'm asking this just for point of clarification for the public so that they understand through the minutes or the paper or what have you. But if the 15.9 million or another amount comes through, if that is approved, is that a done deal? Is that something we're tied into, or does the city council still have the ability to say no?
You still have the ability to say no.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And then when you talked, Harley or Mr. Mayor, about the volleyball team, the pickleball, the rec hockey and all of that, when you're meeting with those groups, is it your expectation that there would be a contract of some sort with that? Or are they telling you this is what they feel they can afford, this is what they can do? Or is it a contracted piece over a
It
period
would
of
not be a
time?
contract. It would be what they would be willing to pay to utilize the facilities, what they would be looking for in a facility.
Okay, but there's not a set in stone, that's what they're willing to do, but there's nothing that would bind them to that.
No.
Okay, all right. That's all I had today. Thank you.
Anything else from audience?
Did we want to touch on the why we can't use the money? I feel like we should answer that question. The bonding money for the $2.5 million that needs to be repaired at Cary Park.
Oh, please.
Well, it's my understanding that the bonding money is for the improvements for Cary Park. Or when I say improvements, I mean the new facility,
New infrastructure.
the new infrastructure, and not get bonding to repair the existing infrastructure. So, and how many engineering firms have been through Cary Park? Because it's been more than one.
I don't know. I know it's been at least, I only know of one, but I do know that we've had, we can bring that up at Public Works and get that number. I don't know, but
I think that's important information to, I think that's important information. I think it's all pertinent to this discussion, is to actually take a look at what is required of Cary Park, because that arena initially, I mean, the building itself is actually, it's designed to be a horse riding stable. That's what the actual building is designed to do. It's not, that building is not designed to be an arena. It's designed for to cover a show stable for like horses, and they used it for that purpose. And initially that building had a dirt floor that had a like mill felt covering, and it was natural ice, so they were using outdoor air to cool it, and then they wound up having to cut huge holes in that building to bring in equipment, and huge holes in the roof so that they could use an excavator to dig it out. And it's in conversations I had when I first got on the council with Gary Scullman, and then later with Ted Brokaw, the building has been sliced and diced and patched back together, and moisture damage, and there's just a lot of damage that's been done. But there are reports out there, I don't have them in front of me, but there are reports out there about the damage that's been done to that building and what's actually happening. And it's a little more, it's my understanding that it's a little more dire and it's a little more involved than just painting it, because when that building was built, that building's over 20 years old. That building is almost 30 years old. When that building was built, it wasn't painted like it should have been. So those girders are rotting is part of the problem. So that building wasn't properly handled at the time of its construction, and that's a big part of the problem.
And to be completely honest, a lot of the stuff you're saying, I've heard, and I've sat in on some of those meetings, and I just know that when it came right down to it, as we were having all the discussions about recreation in the community and what the needs are, what was being asked of the city from the rec commission, the school district, residents, this is what came up. And it made sense to make it all in one place that could house these recreational facilities, house a daycare, house a senior center, have a centralized location to be able to utilize recreation in our community. So I'm not a hockey person, and I'm not out there playing sports. I'm not pushing for sports. What we're trying to do is come up with a facility that makes sense for the entire community. But you're right. As for a hockey arena, I do know it started off as an open air facility, and ultimately we got to what we have now, which caused a lot of damage to the building. And as I've understood it, there's not grants that we're able to get to fix the state or fix the arena. And if we just fix the arena, it doesn't get it any more efficient for the future. It doesn't give us that, it doesn't fix the daycare situation. It doesn't fix the senior center situation. So there's so many different avenues of trying to make it a multi-generational use facility, which is really what we're looking at doing, a walking track, all of the things that people are asking for when they're at the hockey games, so that's, I can't speak to the history of it. I can only speak to what the problems have been, what has come to the attention of the council, and what we can do to try to rectify that. And the reality is if we can get bonding and we can maintain it long-term, that makes a lot of sense. So
I would think that would determine what you make out of that complex, what you're adding in there to that complex. Because some of the new stuff that you're talking about, we don't have any idea what those costs are because they've never been in that complex before. Now, if some of this stuff gets added, there's no written down figures of what that's going to cost.
There is.
I haven't seen any figures.
ISG, that's what they've done for us. Is that correct, Betty? So
But I haven't seen any figures.
We
You
haven't-
talked about figures, but I haven't seen any. No, I'm just telling you, I haven't seen any figures.
and I understand we're not building a facility yet.
So how can we even, we got to study this, the council does. We got some counselors here that are up for election. They might not even be here after this. And we got one that's said he's going for sure.
Mhm.
So you could have a whole new council except for you and me.
Mhm. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Until we get the information, but we can't, until we know who's willing to utilize it and what they're willing to fund, and what they need, how can we do and we're getting beat up as a community sometimes anyways, because how much money are you going to put into engineering if you don't know if you're going to build it? That's the thing. We can't get too far ahead. We can definitely go and we can ask for bonding, and we can get approved for bonding. If we get approved for bonding, then we can put monies towards engineering. And if engineering ends up being the final straw of the whole thing, because we say we can't finalize it, we can't move forward, then we're done. We can utilize bonding money to do the engineering or whatever, but we can't.
We just gave you the vote so you can go down there.
I understand. It's just.
We did. Because I think we're all in favor of trying to get money for International Falls. However, we need to have a good figure system, what it's going to cost.
And we will have that soon.
Okay.
That's the best I can give. Betty, help me
There
with
it-
this one.
there
Just
it
help me
is.
with this one.
We're doing our best. We can't put that out there until we have it all verified, so we can give good information, because everybody's been asking. And yes, we're working on it, but just like any project, up until a certain point, you don't put it out there. And we put it out there enough where we can go to bonding. We have the idea of what we need through the bonding system, but it takes time. And yes, we will bring it out there. It's
You'll have
in the process.
Betty, will you have the information, like how many employees are going to have to be added,
If any at all.
depending
Yes.
on what different stuff you
Yes.
put in that complex?
Yes, that's all part of it.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone's clear. We're not hiding anything.
Well, I didn't say that.
No. I know.
never
I'm not
said
even
that.
suggesting you are.
I just
But
need,
as a
I need
general rule-
figures is what I need right here.
As a general
I
rule,
need figures.
I understand. We are trying to do our due diligence. I haven't seen the ISG report either. In fact, to be completely honest with you, the first person that's probably going to see the ISG report as it comes in is going to be myself and Counselor Deitch, Betty, and Ted. When that comes in, because we're going to be working with that group. We haven't seen it. I have been on a conference call with ISG, and they said when we first put this deal together, as we're looking at the project in International Falls, we're going to be honest. What did they say? The likelihood of this project probably is not going to go. And then when they put in all the numbers of what we're paying over at Cary Park for heat, water, electricity, employees through the rec commission, how much the rec department pays, how much other users are paying, what the average rate of daycares being put in there is, having to hire new people. When they put all of their stuff into their formula, they said they were shocked. It is absolutely doable. And that's why we said, well, let's move to the next level and start seeing what organizations are willing to pay, because we are in northern Minnesota. And we understand that maybe rec hockey is not going to be able to pay the same as what a hockey facility is somewhere else. And same thing with volleyball or whatever. So now we want to make sure that we have accurate numbers so that when we do go to the public, we can say, this is what people are willing to pay. This is what they want. But until we put all those numbers in, that's when we'll get the report. So it is real. We're not stalling. We're not hiding. We're just trying to make sure that we have stuff that's ready for public information, that is good, solid information that we can be.
Public information. That's what
I haven't gotten it yet.
I know, but that's what I like hearing, that it's going to come to the public.
100%, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
All right.
Please.
Sure that the architects understand we're looking for a multi-use facility that will last longer than the cost of it, so that in 15 or 20 years, we're not faced with another building that's falling in.
Yes, long-term maintenance. The question was, are they looking to make sure that this is going to last more than 15, 20 years and be able to last a long time? Yes, long-term maintenance is one of the things that we made sure, and our public works director was adamant on, that we are able to set monies aside through our current, the way we currently handle Cary Park and other things, to be able to fund it long-term. So this isn't a 15 or a 20-year facility. I don't know what the actual long-term date is, but that is something that they are absolutely looking at.
And when do we get a list of who wants to use the facility? The Recreation Commission is such a big part of it, but they're not the only part. We have lots of other agencies, private people, and services. When do we get a list of who all wants to use that building?
So the question is, when do we get a list of who all wants to use the building? I think what I don't have the exact answer on that of a complete list of who wants to use the building. I do know that since we had our first hearing at the House of Representatives on this bill, I've been contacted by 3 daycares that want to utilize the facility and rent the facility for daycares. But as for, Boy Scout groups or anybody like that, we don't have that information right now. But as we go to a more public setting with being able to showcase what we are hoping to present and do, I think that's when we'll start getting the list of names of people that want to utilize and use that facility.
Can I just add one last thing?
Absolutely.
And I want to make it abundantly clear that the original Cary Park building was a gift to the city of International Falls.
Yeah.
And it was built by a dedicated group of citizens who went out and got a grant, who went out and procured a grant and had the building built and gifted it to the city of International Falls. So as far as it lasting,
He's getting geared up for this one.
well, I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
Steve
for,
knows-
I-
Steve
I'm saying
knows
for
what
it lasting
the process.
and other things, it was not a, am I wrong, Steve? Well,
Let me clarify. I
okay,
mean,
all
when,
right, Steve knows.
when this all occurred, I mean, I was the president of Recreation Hockey Association, and we had for a number of years been running pull tabs and trying to raise money to do a facility. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but we had raised approximately $100,000. And it was planned as an outdoor ice, so we were going to put a building over the top with some locker rooms and restrooms and things, but very basic. We just wanted something to get out of the elements. And I came to the council and asked, we needed $250,000 to build the building, basically cover an outdoor rink with a building. And it was not artificial ice. It was just basic and simple. And the council turned us down and said, no, the city did own the land. And the amount I'd been asking for was $250,000. And the next day, a local parent came into my office and laid a $250,000 check on my desk and said, I know you guys will pay it back. Here's the money, build the building. And so that's what we did. And it was, the gift was to recreation hockey. And then that group, we had engineers and contractors and, basically, and I'm not sure if it was a Morton building, but it was that kind of a structure that typically certainly would not house an artificial ice hockey arena. And then the recreation hockey over years, raising money with pull tabs, eventually paid back the individual that wrote the $250,000 check. But without that one person writing that check, we wouldn't have Cary Park today. But it needs to be improved. It's been a great addition to the community. It served the hockey program well, but it's way outlasted its useful life. And it's been changed. They put in the artificial ice and there have been little small incremental changes along the way. And if it's economically feasible to do it, this will be a huge boost for the community. And something that we'll be able to do. And together, it used to be back in the day, we would have lots of tournaments we would host and people coming up here. And over the years, because of our facilities not keeping up with other communities' facilities and our lack of motel space and things, we couldn't do it. Well, now we've got 2 new large motels coming to town. And if we got this facility, I think long-term, it would be fabulous for the community. But the time has come. And again, you have to crunch the numbers. It has to work financially. But I think just applying for this bonding, and if it's approved, doesn't commit the council to do the project. You can still work out the details and fine tune it and trim some costs, I'm sure, and include some things and not include other things. The Cary Park current setup is unsustainable. And as far as I know, you're not going to get public grant funds or even private grant funds to repair a existing facility. They want new infrastructure to qualify for that funding. So I don't think the city has really any other choice.
I like what you said, that the council had the pick and choose type of thing, depending on the finances and all that. I like that. One thing I will say, City of International Falls went the extra mile to put refrigeration into that thing. They had to build a special building for compressors, dig out all the dirt, put in all the piping for the refrigeration. And if it hadn't been for the City of International Falls, that would have been just a shell. But what happened was then the next thing was they wanted a concession stand. So that got added to it. Then they wanted an outdoor rink, people did, next to the Cary Park Arena. That all took the City of International Falls to do that, to get that all done. And it was good for a long time. Now, passing up, whoever didn't notice that the beams were just primed, not finish coated. We had no idea. The City of International Falls took it in because we were asked to take it in. And then we made huge improvements in that thing. I alone, I mean, I don't want to brag about it, but we put a lot of electrical into there so we could have home and sport shows there. There's outlets all over the place. And so a lot of money from the city got put in there. So anyways, I like the part about this council has the right to pick and choose.
Sounds good. All right, we have no correspondence. Wow. So we have no correspondence. Our next regular city council meeting is going to be Monday, March 21st, 2022. We spent more time adjourning.